win, go win, go win, go win, go win, win, go win.
Let's go to an AFC North battle in Baltimore as Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals beat Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens 32-14 for the Bengals. Joe Burrow went 24 for 46. He threw for 261 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, 7 receptions, 110 receiving yards. For the Ravens, Lamar struggled. He went 17 for 32, 246 passing yards, 1 interception, 2 fumbles lost as well. So, my biggest takeaway from this Bengals 32-14 win over the Ravens is, what the hell was going on with Lamar Jackson? I'm sitting there watching this game, and I know when you look at the final score, you see the Bengals had 32 points in this game. But if you actually watch the game, the Ravens defense did a pretty good job against Burrow and the Bengals offense in the first half. Now, Burrow was out of rhythm, and you could tell Burrow had to get some of the rust off, and he had to do that in real time, in real game action. And I thought Burrow did a better job in the second half connecting with his receivers. But in the first half, the Ravens defense, they held the Ravens to 12 points. So the Ravens defense held the Bengals to only 4 field goals and 12 points in the first half. And I'm thinking, why are the Ravens struggling so much offensively? And Lamar, in this particular game, he goes 17 for 32, 246 passing yards, 1 interception, 2 fumbles lost. So he completes 53% of his passes, 273 total yards. He has 3 turnovers, and his passer rating was only 65.4. Those 3 turnovers, that's his first career game with 0 touchdowns and 3 or more turnovers. But this has been an ongoing trend for Lamar Jackson where he has struggled. This is in his last 3 games. Against the Browns, 0 touchdowns, 2 turnovers, passer rating 47.6. Against the Jets, one of the worst teams in pro football, 0 touchdowns, 0 turnovers, passer rating was 76.9. And against the Bengals, 0 touchdowns, 3 turnovers, passer rating 65.4. It's the first time that Lamar has went 3 straight games without a touchdown. So I can't really blame the Ravens defense because in the first half, they held the Bengals' elite offense with Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase to 4 field goals. This game was on Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens offense. And the thing is, when I think about Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, right now, the Chiefs are not in the playoffs. And to me, throughout Lamar Jackson's career, Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs have been Lamar Jackson's kryptonite. And one of the biggest reasons why Lamar has not reached a Super Bowl. Well, the Chiefs are not in the playoffs right now. And when you look at the landscape of the AFC, the Patriots and the Broncos are the number 1 and number 2 seeds in the AFC right now. So if there was ever an opportunity for Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens to get over the hump and make the Super Bowl, it would be this season. The Bengals, despite their win over the Ravens, more than likely, they will not make the playoffs. So you ain't got to worry about Joe Burrow in the postseason, Lamar. To me, the Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, they have flaws, and they are a very flawed football team in Buffalo. So to me, this arguably could be Lamar Jackson's easiest path to a Super Bowl if the Ravens can somehow make the playoffs. But right now, the way that this Ravens offense is performing in the way that Lamar Jackson is performing currently, I don't see how they make the postseason. Now, the good thing for the Ravens is somebody has to win the AFC North. Somebody. And I'm going to get to the Bengals here in a minute, but somebody has to win the AFC North. So maybe the Ravens slide in, because I don't think the Steelers are going to make the playoffs. I don't even think the Steelers are going to win 9 games this year. Joe Burrow and the Bengals are 4-8, but Lamar and the Ravens, they have to play the Bengals in Week 15 here at Paycor in the Queen City. So that's a game that can have major playoff implications and determine who wins the AFC North. But just overall, something seems off with Lamar Jackson. And then I'm looking at the Ravens offense and their approach to this game. Derrick Henry had a touchdown in the first quarter, and he really didn't get many carries after that. For the game, Derrick Henry had 10 carries for 60 yards. Like, what are the Ravens doing? You got Derrick Henry in the backfield. You would think with Lamar Jackson struggling, they would give Derrick Henry more opportunities in the running game and build the passing game off of the running game. Instead, they are doing the opposite. It's like they keep putting Lamar Jackson in positions to throw the football, and it's not getting any better. It's not getting any better. I think the Ravens need to run the football with Derrick Henry and allow Lamar to work himself into the offense, and you can build the passing game off of the running game. Stop building the running game off of the passing game, because the passing game ain't working right now. It ain't working right now. So I think the Ravens more than likely will make the playoffs by default, because I don't think the Steelers are good enough, and I think the Bengals are too far behind. But that Week 15 matchup with the Ravens coming here to Paycor to play the Bengals in the Queen City, that could determine who wins the AFC North. But, man, the Ravens are a mess right now. As for Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals, I feel like we do this every year. The Bengals actually do have an outside chance to make the playoffs. It's highly unlikely, but they have an opportunity. And here's what the Bengals need to make the playoffs. They have to finish 5-0. They have to have the Ravens lose a game, not counting the matchup against the Ravens. So if the Bengals beat the Ravens in Week 15, they still need the Ravens to lose another game. And when you look at the Ravens schedule, they are home against the Steelers in Week 14. Week 15, they are in Cincinnati against the Bengals. Let's say the Bengals win that matchup against the Ravens in Week 15. The Ravens have a home game in Week 16 against the Patriots. They are in Lambeau, Week 17, against the Packers. And then Week 18, they finish up the season in Pittsburgh. So I think the Ravens, they could lose Week 15 against the Bengals, Week 16 against the Patriots, and Week 17 against the Packers. And I think that would open up a path for the Bengals to possibly make the playoffs. So this is what the Bengals need to make the playoffs. Finish 5-0. They need the Ravens to lose a game outside of the matchup against the Ravens. And they need the Steelers to finish 3-3 or worse, where the Steelers already lost a game. And I'm looking at the Steelers' schedule the last few weeks. They are in Baltimore, Week 14. Week 15, they are home against the Dolphins. Week 16, they are in Detroit against the Lions. Week 17, they are in Cleveland against the Browns. And Week 18, they are home against the Ravens. So I think the Steelers could lose potential games against the Ravens twice. They could lose to the Lions Week 16. And that game against the Browns Week 17, that will not be an easy matchup for the Steelers against the Browns, because it's a division game. And we know how division games can go. So it's going to be interesting to see how the race goes in the AFC North. But the Bengals definitely have a puncher's chance. But they got to finish the season 9-8. And I believe that they play in Week 14, they have the Bills. So Joe Burrow and the Bengals are in Buffalo against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, a game that has huge playoff implications for not only just Joe Burrow and the Bengals, but also Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are trying to get back into that AFC East race for that division with the Patriots. So big game in week 14 between the Bengals and Bills.
Go in.